Rick Flag is pissed off because his young son was accidentally deleted by rivaling gangs, and he's going full-blown the Punisher on their asses. He's got 1 year to get into shape and train, all the while staying completely silent to not wake the crappy dialogue of modern Hollywood. In Silent Night. Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Ball Reviews. I'm, of course, your host, Andrew Iles. That's right, Silent Night, directed by John Woo. Yes, that John Woo. Making his Hollywood comeback after 20 years. Because in the early 2000s, Hollywood thought it was better than John Woo and his over-the-top action. And 20 years later, how wrong they were. We open the film on Joel Kinnaman's character Brian, chasing down some rivaling hoodlums. He's in over his head, chasing rivaling gangs who are armed to the teeth, but giving attacking them a red-hot go. Until he's shot in the throat by the leader of one of the gangs. Whoopsie! He's on the slow road to recovery, and we see it all play out. It's not long before we discover he's not just pissed off because he can't sing Christmas carols anymore, but because his young son was killed in the crossfire. And he does what anyone in his situation would do. Wallow in self-grief, crack open all of the vodka, and go down a spiral of depression. He's becoming more and more distant from his wife, even though she's going through the exact same grief. But to pull himself out of a rut, Brian finds himself a hobby. He does what any bloke would do in his situation. He begins to train his body, create a DIY Batmobile, and learns all about guns. He's giving himself 1 year to prep, leading up to the anniversary of his son's death, i.e. being Christmas Eve, to go on a murder-killing spree of revenge. His wife sees this play out in real time and she's having none of it! She ends up leaving her husband because she can't sit around and watch him go down this John Wick spiral. Then the film is pretty much the longest montage in history. Yes, Rocky IV, longer than yours. It shows in real time Brian getting all the evidence that he needs to give to the authorities to take down this massive gang. And eventually he does pass on all the material. But it's kind of no point because he ends up fucking killing them all anyway. But he just wanted the chance to show the lead detective of how hard he worked in this case better than him. Then the third act of this film is what we all came here to see. Bloodlust, revenge, killings. It's justified killing in the most gruesome way possible, showing John Wick that killing someone with a pencil is for pussies. There's only roughly about 3 or 4 words of dialogue in the entire film, earning its title Silent Night. Good way to get around those writer's strikes, eh, John Woo? It makes sense for the lead character Brian to be completely silent with the throat injury, and if anything, it makes him more badass, becoming a silent assassin, if you will. But even though there's no dialogue, there's nothing silent about this film. It did, however, felt style over substance, not having all the other characters be able to talk. Style over substance. Did I even look at who's directing this? But it's soaked in enough badassery that you don't think too hard about it and just enjoy the film. There's some really clever transitions here, cute little ways of getting around that pesky dialogue problem, and all the violence and emotion that you can poke a stick at. Being a masterclass in show, don't tell. Are we taking notes, Marvel? I'm not sure how much rewatchability this film has as opposed to the John Wick films. Because the first 2/3 of the film are an emotional slog. And the only time you'd probably rewatch it if it's that killer third act. Which I must admit is fucking awesome. Joel Kinnaman is solid as always. He's a really underrated actor, and here he absolutely delivers. But unfortunately, he's been in a lot of films that either flopped or just missed the mark. He's very good. Not only in this, but everything I've seen him in, he always delivered a solid performance every single time. I hope that he gets the recognition that he so desperately deserves. And hopefully gets some more opportunities for bigger, awesome films in the future. The guy is great, but unfortunately he's everything that Hollywood is scared of. White, strong, and masculine. But he definitely has the acting chops and the vulnerability to make any mediocre material work. I love the guy, I really do. I want to see more from him. I think he's very, very solid. I kind of lump him into the same school as Henry Cavill, you know? Born in the wrong era of filmmaking. The era of the softcock. Yeah, this is a solid film at the cinema. Is it John Woo's best film? I would say no, but it's definitely up there in quality. I'd definitely say you'd have more fun with like Face Off or Broken Arrow, of course. But this is more of a harken back to his earlier career with his Hong Kong films. Of course, there's the expected double handgun shootouts, 90s long leather jackets, but not a dove in sight. Maybe this is his third renaissance in filmmaking. And God knows we need John Woo in Hollywood now.
He had his Hong Kong action beginnings, his Hollywood 90s cheese era, and now this may be his post-Dove phase. Anyway guys, yeah, I really liked it, especially that third act, badassery all around. That's my cheeky little review of Silent Night. Write down below if you've seen it, if you're excited about it, and more importantly, what is your favourite John Wick-esque movie? And of course, you made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up because your love and support keeps me going, because I just love movies, and I assume you do as well. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon because I give it an episode weekly, and I'll see you back here next week for the next review, and until then, stay spooky, kids.